Hey, good morning everybody. Bob, Trade Genius. 22nd of September. I want to show you some ETFs from a weekly standpoint, and I'm going to talk some opportunities and I think some rejections. And the thing I like to do is to look at the weekly and then look at our indicator to inform me as to what sectors I should play. And half the battle is to get in the right sector, and the other half of the battle is to get it trending the right way. And then you just simply have to buy dips of the right stocks or the right ETF within that, and you're good to go. And it covers sins if you're wrong. So I'm just going to show you some that I think are some opportunities. And we're already in WEAT, but corn now is flashing a buy. This square indicator that we have here is basically a reversal indicator for us. It tells us the sell move is too far too fast, and it's likely to be reversed by algos the other way, and so, or at least it's going to stop the trend. And so although corn has been in a downtrend, and the downtrend has been, I would say it's a mild downtrend, but downtrend nonetheless, it's an opportunity to buy back to at least to the midpoint and up to the moving average. So there's probably a 10%, potential 10% movement in here. And from a macro standpoint, I think food's going to get more expensive, FYI. DBA, the same. Not only do we get a reversal indicator from our slingshot, but also our we got buying pressure too. And so it's an opportunity here. It's already made a bit of a move, and then likely it's going to probably push up to here. And this is more interesting to look at the components of DBA versus trying to trade DBA. It doesn't move that much, at least not to interest me. But some of the underlying components might be interesting to follow. And then here's one that if you're a risk off person, you should be paying attention to. This is the yen. Okay, when the yen's moving higher, meaning the yen is getting stronger, that means people that are using the yen as a carry trade, which means they sell the currency for cash and then they go and they speculate on stocks. They'll have to reverse those positions because they're getting margin called out, and they got to close their position, so it reverses the trade. So we had a driving back down here to basically the whole month of August, but we put a little hammer in here, and so now we just got to watch to see. We got a little buying pressure too, is to see if there's a move higher here, and if there is, and this is trending up. So we've been trying to trending risk off all since, this goes back just 100 weeks. So this goes back 2 years. So it's been a slight risk off environment, which makes sense because the market's really been flat since a year after the election. And so just watch for if this pops, so you have to unwind positions. We re-entered GBTC. This is the Bitcoin Trust ETF. It's been on a slight downtrend for the last 2 years. No big surprise. This is skewing it pretty hard. And if you notice, our system was screaming to get out here when Bitcoin was blasting over 20,000. And so now we'll go ahead and it's settled back down. If you notice, we were getting buying pressure here as it was putting the lows in, and now we have this this move here, which is an opportunity now, I think, to come back up around. So we re-entered, just a trade for us, but it flashed a buy for us last week, and I was looking for an opportunity to get in, and we got in last week. And GDX and GDXJ are doing well. Big move up to the 3 standard deviations. A little bit too far too fast, but came down, and then we got another buy signal already. So this may be consolidating on high for another move higher. we re-entered GDXJ. We've already had 2 nice trades on this, and it's pushing up higher. Just to show you the trades we took, you can't see it in the weekly, but here's our trade. We took this one, got out, and we're in this one right now of 5%. So we've had 11% trade. Talked about that earlier this week. Still in trade. We're moving stops up. Reverses on us, so be it. We'll get out with a profit on it. And then going down here, not ready to make the call yet, but it sure looks like the marijuana stocks are starting to get washed out here in a weekly. So it's every time we've gotten a reversal indicator, they've jammed it higher. So just keep that in mind. You know, MJ can Pike still get down here to the 20s. Sometimes these signals happen and it takes a week or two to unwind. Okay, all indicators are indicators that just get your attention, and but it gets you on the right side. So just keep in mind, if you're shorting marijuana stocks, you may want to start to unwind those positions. So, and look for an opportunity to catch us a snapback. It's dead neutral, so you just look for opportunities to see if you could just swing it a little bit, but not quite ready yet. I like to see what it does. You know, if it breaks above this candle, I'm in, and if it breaks down to the 3 standard deviations below, I'm going to look to get into some of the marijuana stocks for trade, because when they move, even if it's a dead cat bounce, you're going to make a lot of money fast. So let me go down to, I just want to show you VXX because it's interesting. I'll show you UNG first. There was a rejection here on the weekly, and this is one of the trades where UNG it fights to stay positive because of the nature of the contract roll. But for the last 2 years, natural gas has been pretty neutral, except for this massive squeeze we had at the end of 2018, and there's a potential for another squeeze. I haven't shorted it at all because I think winters are going to be a lot colder than what people are saying, because people are idiots and they believe the climate change people, and we're going to get another squeeze just like we had here when people were not buying enough natural gas and they had to buy it on spot because they believe the idiots, and it's going to happen again, and we'll profit from it. So if it breaks back over this line here and turns higher, we're going to be looking to take advantage of a nice natural gas move. So if you play futures on this, it could be very, very profitable for you. Here's oil. I think this was a rejection candle in my view. This was, I think, an attempt to try to save some people's positions. I talked about that in an earlier video. I think it was the most transparent manipulation that I've ever seen. These guys just don't care anymore. They will steal you right in front of your face. And I think it's struggling here. If it breaks back below this midline, then oil's going down much further. The demand is not meeting the supply. And then let's see here. Here we go. Here's VXX. I find VXX interesting is every time it gets to 1 standard deviation below its trend line, it snaps back. And here we're making a higher low on a hammer, and maybe next week it may push back down a little bit, but it's ready for a snapback. It's been really delayed. If you notice, we get these fairly recent, and these here are just FYI, these are reverse splits. So, but you get these moves fairly regularly, and they've really suppressed it hard. And you can't suppress things like this forever. It's going to have to unwind. So look for the unwinding on this thing, and VIX is going to go the other direction. The good news is we'll have an opportunity to short it again, but right now that blood is out of the rock. And then I showed you wheat. We're in wheat. Trade's profitable, slow trade, but I'm playing it through October and then see what happens. I'm looking for a surprising spike. Then once they realize how much wheat they're going to get out of the ground, and then I'll dump the trade. XLE, part of oil, is showing it the rejection here at the moving average, and I had a calendar on XLE for the last couple weeks, and just closed that trade out, and it's going to be well, it was a profitable trade, but I think it's going to now reverse back down some. And then I think we have a rejection candle here on the financials too, and this whole noise with the Fed. Something's going on. You know, you don't do 20 days of the amount of buying they're doing of these treasuries without something happening. And the more they try to make it like a no big deal, the more people are gonna look into this, and we'll get a leak somewhere. But somebody's in trouble, either a sovereign nation or a bank that's connected to a sovereign nation, and I think it is a big deal. And I think they're actively trying to get the dollar from being too strong, because that'll blow up the economies of the world just as fast as a falling dollar will blow up the United States. And let's see if there's anything else. And I'll just show you XME. This is really the barometer you want to use to say if we're really going to start having any kind of economic activity. And I still just don't see it, folks. You know, it's been pinned below the moving average. Linear regression is down. It's in what I would call a solid downtrend where you're selling rips, okay, and you really only are interested in buying dips if you get below this 2 standard deviation area here, okay. So you become interested in if it breaks through this moving average, in my view, and then that way you're looking for a trend change. But hey, thanks for listening, and thanks for everybody who's new that just joined us from our special that ended last night. If you are trying to connect for the indicator, just make sure you give us your TradingView name, and sometime early Monday morning we'll get everybody set up, and it should prove to be a very interesting week ahead. A lot of news to move the markets around. Have a good one. Bye-bye.